Hey guys, welcome to episode number 357. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday. And here's what's left of the My Aquarium Box supplies, which are moving to Mike's new house. We are setting up shop in a larger basement. My basement is no longer big enough to house My Aquarium Box. So if you haven't checked out My Aquarium Box, go check it out. MyAquariumBox.com. First ever subscription box service for the aquarium hobby, brought to you by us. So I will have more of my basement space back, which will be good. There's been a whole lot going on down here in the basement, so much so that I'm in the middle of a bunch of projects. You did see me move this 300-gallon stock tank, and I've got my barrel filters back behind it. I've got my waterland over here. I'm going to shoot a video on the waterland tub all on its own. I've got extra Hydroton here. I've got some river stones. I've got 3 bags of white play sand to put back into this 300-gallon stock tank, along with a barrel or a bucket and a half of old media that I need to bring outside and wash out. If you watched my recent video on how to set up a reactor chamber for your K1 micro, you can see that the new micro media here is now flowing freely, as would be expected. So all is well there. One of the other things that I need to focus on here shortly is getting these crayfish out of this tank and off the floor. This has sort of been a very temporary solution for these guys for the past couple weeks, and I'm sick of changing the water on this. They don't really have a filter going. It's just sort of a cesspit down here on the floor. So I have to change the water pretty often, otherwise it gets fouled up real quick. But you know, they're mud bugs, so they live in the mud anyways. But I need to make them a true home and get them off the floor. So one idea I had for that was actually over here. And as I've said in the past, I want to get this 30-gallon breeder set up. It's sort of a unique size tank. It's got the same dimensions as these 40-gallon breeders, but it's just shorter. And one thing that I wanted to do, now that I have the space here on this wall, previously this stock tank was a little too close and I couldn't fit that in, but now that I have the space, what I want to do is raise it off the floor a little bit with a stand, and then, as I have also said in the master plan, I'm going to install something of a breeding rack on this wall. And so I was considering using this tank as a sump for that little breeding system, and that system may also be tied into my drain line and into my 3-barrel filter. That would involve me cutting this 2-inch PVC pipe that you see back there and extending that over here in this direction. Now obviously, if I was to do that, I would have to shut the filter system completely off here in this entire rack system for probably a few hours as I cut that pipe and then extend it while I wait for that PVC cement to dry and whatnot. So it's a little bit of a project. I'm definitely going to need to have enough time to do something like that. It's kind of an awkward angle to get in there, and so I'll just have to make sure that I do that when I have enough time to complete the task, because obviously I can't walk away from something like that until it's completely finished. So with all of that in mind, I may also need to drill this 30-gallon and it's warm enough outside that I can certainly do that. So that might be another quick project here in the future, along with setting up that rack of little breeding boxes. So that'll be fun. That'll be future content. The turtles down here are doing well. My southern black knob map turtles, most of them actually hide out in the milk crate. You can see one is poking his head through the milk crate, checking out what's on the other side of the window. They like to hang out in there. I guess they feel like it's the safest spot in the stock tank, and I think they'd be right. There's plenty of fake plants here, plenty of cover for them, and the rest of it is a little wide open. So I am going to fix that. I will be adding more driftwood at some point. I still need to move these lights over. I've said that I need to do that, so that'll be coming up here shortly. I did get my mercury vapor bulb positioned here, and it's like, you know, 8 to 10 inches above the basking platform, so they are enjoying that basking platform. One thing that I might do is replace this basket with the basket that you saw over here. And if you remember, I did have a breeding box set up over here. I had this piece of wood as a ramp into that breeding box, but it was a little large, it was a little unnecessary, and it took up a lot of space here in the fish room. So when I pivoted, if you will, to the group of black knob map turtles here, I decided to take that down, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. It's a 5-gallon container meant for lilies, I believe, like outdoor ponds and stuff. Take this and affix it somehow to either the milk crate or some other structure to make a little bit of an island in the 300-gallon stock tank, and that will allow me to then take my peat moss, which is sitting here on the floor waiting for it, as well as some sand mixed in, and fill that tub with substrate, and then that will become my nesting box, breeding box, and it will be inside the 300-gallon stock tank. I think that's a much better solution. These turtles don't get that big, and this should be a plenty large enough breeding spot for them. Definitely deep enough. So that's the current plan. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen to the mangroves. I might just move them over. They might still stick around, I don't know. But that's sort of the idea. So if I put that breeding box in a location like that, then I can use this ramp again and build it up into the breeding area, the nesting area, and then just continue to position my light over that. A couple other things here real quick. The mechanical filter here has been working out really well. It's that filter sock material that I showed in a couple videos, so if you want to go back and check that out, this stuff is amazing. It's been holding up like a champ. It's been catching a lot of particles, and you can see how discolored it is. It's actually completely full, or at least it's holding water. You can see that it's holding its shape because it's sort of captured a whole lot of particles, and the water is having a more difficult time of escaping. But this thing's been going for a month, and so it's probably about time to change that out. But interesting to note that that sock cost around $1, and so replacing that is pretty quick, pretty painless, and really cheap. So that's all good. I do have a pre-filter on here, And I actually just changed this yesterday. It's hard to see with all the lights. I changed it yesterday, and as you can see, it's already getting plugged up again. So there's a lot of stuff in the water down here as well. I might need to switch to like a sponge pre-filter for my pump, just to give me a little bit more time to switch those out in between cleanings, so that it's not quite as bad. But I did goof up a little bit. I did put some of this peat moss into my waterland tub with the hatchlings, and one thing that happened was the hatchlings jumped into the land area, and then they carried all of that peat moss into the water. So when I got home, the water surface here was just completely covered with peat moss. You can see some of it still in this bucket here. And some of that actually got through my overflow screen and actually made it into this tank. So that's a lot of what's plugging that up over there. So hopefully that'll all get cleared up here shortly. You can see it's on the walls of this stock tank as well. So there's a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done down here. A couple lessons learned, but I did cap this off with some sand. So I hope that's going to help out as well. You can see some of those stones right here. Again, I do have some lights on order from Ken's Fish. So once that comes in, I'll be raising this a little bit and making that into a basking platform. And then they will have a nice, warm, sunny place to bask. But for now, they're all hiding down in the corner underneath their driftwood. So that's just a quick spin around the fish room. One last thing is this 40-gallon breeder has a crap ton of endlers in it, and I haven't gone through this at all. But these are the guys that came out of the stock tank when I moved the stock tank. So that just gives you an idea of how many there were in that tank, and most of these will be returning to the stock tank system as well, and I'll let them continue to breed and prosper. One other quick thing to note is I did get 2 more pairs of angels out of this tank. This tank's been growing out some angels. We've got some double darks and a few others, and down here we have a gold and a double dark behind him. He's like almost impossible to see with the background. You can kind of see his fin there. The tank is dirty. So that's a pair. And where else do I have a pair? I have a pair up here. This is a double dark pair, 1 and 2. So they are in with endlers at the moment. I will be making DIY dividers out of acrylic, and when I do that, I'll consolidate probably 2 pairs, maybe 3 pairs in a 40-gallon breeder, and we'll see how they do. Anyways, guys, that's what's going on. Tons of little projects down here in the fish room. I also have a ton of stuff that's going to be happening outdoors as well, as I set up a little bit of a DIY aquaponics system and some outdoor tubs. So we'll see how all of that does as well. I just need to find the time to get out there and set it all up. But it's going to be fun. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.